This is Unit 6, and the title of the unit is called More Graphing. We're going to start off with D1 Graph Inequalities on the coordinate plane. Also, we're going to be able to determine if a point is a solution to an inequality. So let's start off with an Algebra 1 review. Definitely we're going to be solving for y. So I'm going to subtract x on each side. We get negative 2y is greater than negative x plus 8. We're going to divide through by negative 2. And we get y. Of course, we divided an inequality by a negative, so we're going to change the sign, flip the sign. Y is now less than. A negative over negative is a positive, so this is going to be x over 2, and 8 over negative 2 is negative 4. I want to rewrite this. Y is less than 1/2 x minus 4. All right, so now next what we're going to do is we're going to take some notes, okay? We're going to talk about what it is that we just did. What we did was we isolated the y. Next, we're going to graph points on the figure as if it were an equation. 3 points for lines, 5 for non-linear graphs. That's what we're going to do. So it's a couple of things we can do. We can graph this by y equals mx plus b, or we can pick some points. If we decide to graph this using y equals mx plus b, b is your y-intercept, and so this is negative 4, so we go down to the y-axis and go down to negative 4. The slope, which is your b, is rise over run. In this case, it is 1 over 2, so I go up 1 and over 2, I'm back on the line. Up 1 and over 2, and I'm back on the line. And then you would connect that. All right, so that is step 2. The first thing, we isolated the y. Number 2, we're going to graph some points. It's a line, we graph 3. Now here we are. If the inequality has a less than or a greater than, we're going to do a dashed line. And so here, take a look, we have a dashed line. Less than or greater than is a dashed line. Okay. If it is less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, we're going to use a solid line. That's very important. Your line is important. It tells whether it's a part of the solution or if it's not a part of the solution. Now let's check out number 4. If the inequality is less than or equal to, we're going to shade below the line. So take a look here. We shade below the line. So everything below the line is definitely a solution to this inequality because it says less than. However, if it's something that is above the line, greater than or greater than or equal to, we're going to shade above the line. Now, take notice down here that you could definitely plug in some points to test the shading area. I love testing 0, 0. As long as it's not on the line or the curve, we could test it. So let me go ahead and show you how to test 0, 0. First of all, take a look that 0, 0 is right here. So I'm going to plug in 0, 0 into my inequality, which is y is less than 1/2 x minus 4. So I'm going to plug in 0 for my x and 0 for my y. So 0 is less than 1/2 times 0 minus 4. See what we get. This is 0 is less than negative 4. Is this true? No. So my point 0, 0 should not be shaded. And when I look at my graph, it's not. So that's just an extra check that you can do to figure out if your shading is in the right spot. Alrighty, let's go ahead and graph absolute value. Y is less than or equal to negative absolute value of x minus 3. Now, there's a couple of ways we can do this. I'm going to go back and build on prior knowledge because we have graphed absolute value using a vertex. So the vertex here is going to be 3, 0, because there is a h but no k. So when I do this, I'm going to go over to the vertex, 1, 2, 3, and 0. My slope here, take a look, is negative 1. So from the vertex, I'm going to go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. And I'm going to do my best to connect that line. Why am I doing a solid line? Why am I doing a solid line? Because I see the less than or equal to. So because I see an inequality, I know there's some shading that needs to take place. And so now I need to figure out, do I shade above this function or below? Because it is less than, I am shading below. Hopefully you can see that. If I want to do a test, I could definitely test 0, 0 to see if it works, to make sure my shading is in the right place. But I am definitely sure my shading is in the right place. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Here, y is greater than -2, and then x minus 1 squared plus 5. So I went back and put in the notes. I know I said it in the video, but I didn't write it down. Shade below. We're looking at B. Shade below and use a solid line. Okay? So when we look at C, where are we going to shade? Looks like we're going to shade above. And because it's greater than, I'm going to use a dashed line. Okay. Alrighty. So what we're going to do is we're going to graph this quadratic. So we know what quadratics look like. They look like this. They don't look like absolute value. Absolute value look like a V. All right. So I'm going to use my HK and say my vertex is at 1, 5. So I'm going to go to 1, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right. And I want to do my over and up chart. So if I put in a 1, I get out of 1. I put in a 2, I get out of 4, because this is a square term. Well, my leading coefficient here is -2. So I'm going to multiply all my outcomes by -2. Okay. So then this is going to give me -2, and this one is going to give me -8. So I'm going to go over 1 and down 2. Over 1 and down 2. The next one I'm going to go over 2 and down 8. So I'm going to go over 2 and down 8. Same thing on the other side. Over 2 and down 8. Okay. And so those are the points that I am going to connect using a curve, and it's a dashed line. There's my parabola. Now it says my y values need to be greater than, so I am going to shade above this figure. So let's see, let's go with some green. Okay. Now take a look. My question to you, is 0, 0 shaded? The answer should be no. So if I plug in, go back up here to my original and plug in 0, 0, should that be a solution? It should not, because it's not shaded. However, that's a good way to check it. So what we're going to do is we're going to use all the tools we have in our toolkit for graphing all of these different functions: exponential, logarithm, absolute value, quadratics. We're going to use all our tools in the toolkit, but now we're going to add in an inequality. So we're going to do some shading. All right, hope you enjoyed the lesson. Have a great day.